It's your boy Fisted in his house, bringing another great edition of Black Ops Review, because that's what I do. Two-part commentary. I'm going to talk about two things. One thing I'm going to talk about is mods. Modification, just the word modification. I think people, it's for my own information, because I want to know if people think, you know, if certain modifications are justifiable with Call of Duty or any game. And I guess let me try to like tell you what I think are modifications. I think anything that doesn't come with the Xbox or that you have to buy in order to make your game better is a modification. Now there's two types of modification. There's the indirect modification and then there's a direct modification. And what I want to know is that I'm going to be doing some reviews on some indirect modifications. And what I mean by indirect modifications, let's take for example footsteps. Footsteps in the game can be loud or they cannot be loud, they can be heard, they can be not heard. MLG, people wear headsets and they hear the footsteps, so everybody uses Ninja. So there's no point, you can't burn that perk because people can hear you with a headset. Now, I consider a pair of headphones that listens to footsteps a modification. And I think that if you're in war, you're not going to hear footsteps. You're definitely not going to hear footsteps when people are battling in a shootout. The thing I want to say is that's an indirect modification. I mean, it's, you know, you buy the game, you buy the Xbox, whatever you have the system outside of that is an indirect modification. It doesn't affect the game directly, but it's an indirect modification that helps you. Now, is that wrong, or is that, or does it matter? I mean, I just was asking because I want to know, because I'm going to do an indirect modification review on controller add-ons. Now, I use gel tabs. Gel tabs, basically, they changed over their whole system, and I'm going to be switching over to something else, and I'm going to do a review on that. Now, gel tabs is an indirect modification. Now, my question to you is, I'm going to be doing a review on this other indirect modification, and it has to do with the controller. Now, I know there is modifications that affect the game directly in the game, like shooting faster and stuff like that, or lag switches. Those I know are wrong. But some people may think indirect modifications like, you know, headphones and gel tabs and, you know, controller modifications that don't affect the game but, you know, can improve your gameplay or make it more comfortable. Anything that doesn't come with the original controller, you know, is my question to you. Does that matter, or is it okay? I would really like to see what you guys think in the comments. I mean, do you think that's, I mean, or do you even know that exists? You know, I mean, if you want more information, or you think it's, you know, okay for me to do a modification review, a indirect modification review, just let me know. It has nothing, I would never do a direct modification review, but I'm still curious to see what you guys think about indirect modifications. I know there's like 80% of the people on Xbox use headphones. It's indirect modification. Doesn't come with the game. So, you know, whatever. I want you guys to let me know about that. The other part I want to talk about is, you know, pretty curious to me is like, you'll see these maps like Zoo, Cracked, all the, you know, any type of map that has a lot of buildings. And as you get better at the game, you'll start to realize that, you know, people are gonna they camp, and it's just easier to, instead of, I mean, I thought Zoo was a rushing map because it's so many buildings and you can go in and out and you can hunt people down, but they camp certain lines of sight and you just can't get past it. So what I'm starting to realize when I'm using the Fal, like this weapon, and then the M16 or the G11, anything with a burst weapon or a one-shot weapon, it takes these people out of these lanes and areas where they camp in these buildings. So I'm just adjusting to the way people play. Now, I don't know if you guys have this in your arsenal, but you know, there's some people that just play like that. You know, when you'll try to rush down on them, and they're just waiting for you to rush on them. So the next best thing to do is to get a burst weapon or a single shot weapon and just take them out where they're either head glitching in the lines of sight or lanes of traffic, and that's the best way to deal with it. Now you'll see in this game I deal with a lot of lines of sight and people camping in the windows, around corners, and this map is notorious for that. So I'm starting to see more justification for these single burst and these triple burst weapons. Now, really, back in the day, I was like, well, what's the point of using them? You know what I mean? Like, where is the advantage to them? And now I'm starting to realize that when Modern Warfare 3 comes out, they keep going on the trend that they're going on with these super long maps, but it looks like they try to trick you with all these big buildings, and you think it's a rushing map. You know, it's more or less, you know, it's like getting the position in these line of sight maps and holding down certain spots. You know, I mean, I like to rush on certain maps, but, you know, obviously I'm not a dumbass. I'm not going to sit there, you know, I'm not going to go, okay, I'm Superman, I can fight 5 dudes by myself. You know, there's obviously people are entrenched in, and they're not going to give you explosives to get them out. You know, that only leaves you with a couple options left. So you have to really think about that, because, you know, when Modern Warfare 3 comes out, you know, I mean, Ghost doesn't really matter in Black Ops anymore. I mean, once you get to the point where you know the maps, then pretty much it doesn't matter if a Ghost guy might get you once or twice, but they're not really going to really hold you down. And then especially if you got, you know, game types who are Express, where they're using UAV all the time, they're definitely not going to move. Why would they need to use Ghosts? They could just camp certain areas and they know you're coming because they're hitting 2 kills to get a UAV. It's easier that way. It's kind of like, it's like a poor man's SR-71, but it works. I mean, if you got Express Team Deathmatch, you could use UAV, SR-71, and dogs, and you would be set. You'd be good to go. Because you look at this guy. See, this is what I'm talking about. An SMG or an assault rifle, I wouldn't be able to hit that shot on the run, but then I could just stop and 2 pops, you're dead. You know what I mean? So I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave your comments below. I'd like to know what you guys think about indirect, direct modifications and single shot and triple burst. Until next time, it's your boy Fist. Peace!